Hello, everyone. How's it going? Welcome to my live. My name is Moumita Rahman, and I am an immigration lawyer. I'm coming to you live tonight to talk about immigration and some of the things that I think are very important for you to know. And if you have any questions about immigration, about the process, about your case, feel free to drop a comment in the box below, and I will do my best to answer as many questions as I can before I end this live. So hello, it is a pleasure to see all of you. And today I would like to dedicate my live to someone that I just spoke with. You know who you are. If you're watching, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure speaking with you. And I want to share the meaning of your name, which means surrounded by wealth. Surrounded by wealth. And wealth can mean so many different things. And for me, what wealth means is peace of mind. When you have peace of mind, you have confidence, you have security, you have stability. This is the biggest wealth that money can't buy. And what I told this special client is, your name means surrounded by wealth. And I hope that from this day forward, you will know how much wealth you are surrounded by, especially when you're working with us, because my job is to help give you this peace of mind and this wealth that I hope is going to make your life so much better. So it's a pleasure to see all of you. Now, what I'm going to talk about today is, will your spouse find out if you filed for VAWA? Will your spouse find out if you filed for VAWA? And is your case safe? Will you get in trouble with your spouse? This is a very important question that I want to cover today because it is something that worries a lot of people. I know that it gets in the way of even filing for VAWA itself because you're scared about what's going to happen to you. You're scared about getting in trouble with your spouse. You're scared about your spouse, hurting you or sabotaging your case or making your life worse if you file for VAWA. And I'm going to talk about this right now. But for those of you who are joining me right now, thank you for watching. My name is Moumita Rahman, and I have been an immigration lawyer for the past 11 years. And I love what I do. I love what I do. I love my clients. I love the cases that I work on. I believe that this is my destiny to be able to help. And if you do need to speak about your case, give us a call, 212-248-7907. Let's see if we can help you. Let's see if we can get you on your way to your work permit and to your green card. And let's talk about this very important question right now. If you file for VAWA, will your spouse find out about your case or will it be safe and secure? So what I say is this: VAWA is highly, highly protected underneath the law. It is such a strongly protected case type that should any information be disclosed to unauthorized third parties, then even the immigration officer, even the worker, whoever the private individual is that commits that violation of confidentiality can actually receive government penalties on themselves. You can sue them. You can sue them for penalties. And that is how strict the confidentiality provisions are. So no, your spouse will not find out. They will not call up your spouse to ask them about the cases to see if it's real. That is not allowed. That is strictly forbidden. They will, immigration officers will do their job. And if they need to verify through searching online, through looking at other records, through looking at other cases, they may do that, but they may not contact your spouse regarding your case and reveal that you are in fact filing for VAWA. Second of all, whenever clients work with us on their case, all mail is sent to us to protect the client's case, to protect their confidentiality. And before we send anything to you, we always double check to make sure we know what is the safest way of contacting you, what is the safest way to send things to you, what is a safe location, so that nothing gets inadvertently disclosed, to make sure that nothing gets sent to the wrong location, okay? So you will be protected. Your spouse should not be finding out about your case. Of course, you have to do your own part in keeping your case private. You don't want to tell every single person. You don't want to start posting about it online. So protect your confidentiality if you are worried about your spouse hurting you or sabotaging your case. All right. But other than that, don't let this be the factor that prevents you from getting the protection that you need underneath VAWA. We are currently helping file for VAWA for people who are still living with their spouses, because it is not always a situation. Not everybody is divorced. Not everybody is separated. And it's not always possible for people to live apart, nor does everybody want to live apart. Look, what I say to everybody is that relationships are complicated. Relationships are complicated, and you may not want to take that final step of divorce. You may not want to take that final step of separation. And I am all about empowerment. I'm all about you, whether you are a man, whether you are a woman, to live an empowered life and to live, in the way that you deserve. And oftentimes, just having that work permit, just having that green card, just knowing that you are on your way to protection against deportation is a lot of knowledge and power for you to have some stability over your own life. All right. So call us today, 212-248-7907. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and answer as many questions as I can. I have a question here from Chavalito. Chavalito, you're asking, can somebody with domestic violence get status? Chavalito, it really depends on the charge. It really depends on the charge. It really depends on what happened in your case, what the conviction was for. You need to get, and anyone who has any sort of criminal history, you have any sort of criminal history, you need to go get the documents from court. You need to get the final certificate of disposition. That is what we call it in New York. In every state, it's something different. Even in other parts of New York, it might be called something else. But ultimately, every immigration lawyer needs to find out what ultimately happened in the case, because you can get charged with 10 different things, and you might be charged with like the highest level charge that the police can think about. But ultimately, the conviction may just be for one thing or something totally different. So get those records, and it needs to be analyzed, and we need to see also what immigration cases you're eligible for anyway, okay? Pending I-751 after interview, can I travel if there's an emergency? What should we need to do? From Proud Pakistani. Proud Pakistani, I think it's really going to depend on what sort of extension you have left and whether you need a stamp. But yes, you should be able to travel. But, you know, after an interview, you're so close to decision. I would say it's a little bit risky, but you can go ahead and do it. But you can contact my office. I would say don't do anything unless you talk to a lawyer. Okay. How to collect emotion, or how to prove emotional and mental abuse from Smiley Face. Smiley Face, thank you for your question. Thank you for your question, Smiley Face. And this is a question that I get a lot. This is a comment that I get a lot. A comment that I get from a lot of people is that I don't have any evidence. I can't prove that my spouse hurt me emotionally, that they verbally abused me, that they emotionally or psychologically tormented me. I don't have any proof of this. How can I win my case? And what I say to you is that, number one, your biggest source of evidence in your case is actually you and your testimony, your words. When we work together with clients, we do a very long interview where we ask so many questions. We go through as many nooks and crannies and details as we can about what you went through, what your spouse did to you, and how it made you feel, because we're trying to help you prove and to show and demonstrate that you're the victim of either extreme cruelty or battery in your VAWA case. And you can do as many other things as you can too. You can get a psychological evaluation. You can get text messages, screenshots. If anything, if you were controlled in other ways, like by having your passwords broken into, things like that. Try to get evidence of that. If you have any friends or family members or even neighbors who witnessed your spouse demeaning you, yelling at you, mistreating you, in public or through the walls, whatever they could hear, they can always write a letter of support for your case too, to talk about what they witnessed or what they heard. And, that can help support your case as well. All right. So there's always ways to prove it. You have to get creative. You have to think about every single way. This is one of the things that lawyers do. We look for whatever we can. We think about all sorts of strategies to help prove X, Y, Z, A, B, and C, and everything in between as much as possible. Of course, it is not possible to prove every single thing. But the law is a little bit more generous in VAWA cases. The law does allow you to say, to show any credible evidence. Any credible evidence is the standard of evidence that immigration officers are trained to use when looking at VAWA cases. But this also means that all of your evidence must be consistent. Don't make up anything just because you think it's going to help. Everything should be real, okay? But call me. This is my job. This is our job as a team at the Rahman Law Firm to help you put together your case. So 212-248-7907. Can you help somebody with a 10-year ban? My husband is from Mexico, but every lawyer we spoke to says no, from Desmarie. Desmarie, thank you so much for your question. Now, 10-year bar, it depends on, I think you're probably talking about the permanent bar. The permanent bar is probably the most serious immigration violation or punishment that they could ever give. It is ridiculous. It makes no sense. It needs to be taken off the books. It needs to be just gone like that. I hate the 10-year bar, and I know that most other lawyers hate it too. And I'm sorry about the lives that it's ruining right now. But if you have the 10-year bar, There are basically 3 types of cases where you might be able to fix it. It has to be proven for the VAWA case. So if you're eligible for VAWA, and VAWA is one thing, the 10-year bar is a different thing. You can still be approved for VAWA and maybe not be able to fix a permanent bar. But if you can show a connection between any of the extreme cruelty or battery that you suffered, in showing either how to show a connection between between that and the permanent bar, then you might be able to get that fixed. Second type of case is called the U visa, which a lot of you are familiar with. This is for victims of criminal activity, qualifying crimes against you. If you get approved for the U visa, then you can also waive the permanent bar. The next is the T visa. The T visa is something that is a little bit less commonly known, but it is for victims of trafficking. Trafficking can be sex trafficking, or trafficking can also be labor trafficking. And labor trafficking is something that usually is what I'm looking at. And labor trafficking involves, if you work for someone, and not only do they pay you very low, and they make you work a lot of hours, but it's really like, what is this employer making you do? Is this employer scaring you? Are you working there because you're afraid that the employer will do something bad to you if you leave? Are they mistreating you? Are they just making you overall fearful? So you feel that you have no choice but to work there. And not only do you feel like you have no choice, not just because you're not going to have a job, but you're really afraid of the employer coming after you, then you may be eligible for something called a T visa. A T visa, again, is for victims of trafficking. And also through the T visa, you may be able to waive and fix the permanent bar so that you can get a green card. Okay. Obviously, if you don't qualify for any of these, then it's going to be very difficult to fix a permanent bar. Okay. Let's see. Adil, Starboy, Mr. Tusk, hello. My spouse, Starboy is saying, my spouse filed an I-130 for me and he was very abusive, and I converted my case to a VAWA, and my I-360 was approved on August 18th, 2021, and my approval notice priority date says March 2016. What does it mean? How long do I have to wait for an interview for my green card? From Starboy. Starboy, congratulations on getting your VAWA approved. Now, VAWA by itself is not a green card, which is why we will frequently file your I-360 with your I-485 so that you can not only get a work permit, but then be in line to get your green card. After your VAWA is approved, your local office will receive your file. And then it depends on them. It depends on whether they're going to give you an interview or not. And if they are going to give you an interview, it depends on how long they are taking to schedule you for that interview. So it really depends on how long you might have to wait. Sometimes you might have to wait just 6 months. Sometimes it's a year. Sometimes you just wait a couple months, and that's it. So Starboy, congratulations. Just have a little patience. Make sure you take an attorney with you to the interview. My spouse and I got divorced before I got my biometrics, and she refused to help me in any way. Should I get my biometrics or proceed with the case even in the situation? Thank you. Emerson, thank you so much for your comment and question. So what I would recommend is this: get your biometrics done, and then let's file for VAWA. If your spouse is refusing to help you, if your spouse is refusing to show up to the interview, if your spouse is constantly threatening to not just cancel your application, but do other things to you, abandon you, mistreat you, verbally abuse you, anything like this, you may be eligible to file for VAWA and proceed on your own without the spouse. And if this is happening to you, get your biometrics done. Give us a call, 212-248-7907. Let's see if we can get that case filed for you. And Amir, hello, my friend. How are you? I hope you are doing well. Nice to see you. All right. Let's see what other questions I have. Seeing a lot of friends. Gabby Cruz, thank you. She likes lipstick. I went red today. Somebody saying you have a question about divorce. Go ahead and ask it right now. All right, I'm going to take a couple last questions. From Samala is saying, hello, my husband was approved for an I-601. How much longer until the next step? From Sama_law. All right. Anyone who is filing for the perdón or for the I-601A waiver, if you have filed for the I-601A waiver and it has been approved, then the next step is going to be an interview at your consulate in your home country. And the wait time for this is really unpredictable at this moment because number one, consulates are really backed up because of the closures from COVID-19. Number two, they're very understaffed right now because of COVID-19 still. So you may end up waiting anywhere from 6 months to more than a year for the interview. It really depends. And if you have an emergency situation, you can always ask for an expedite, okay? Can I take an attorney with me if my spouse doesn't want to go with me to the interview from It's a Self-Love Journey? It's a self-love journey. Thank you for calling us and also for the question. Yes, you can take an attorney with you to the interview if your spouse doesn't go with you. However, I recommend that you contact somebody well in advance to see if we could possibly file for VAWA for you. If you've been calling me to help you, look, when people have a green card process already underway, and then their spouse suddenly says that they don't want to go with them anymore and they refuse, we always, first of all, I will always evaluate you to see if you qualify for VAWA. And if I think that you can file for VAWA, then what we do is we make a request with the immigration office to hold your case in abeyance. Abeyance basically means like a suspension, right? So we ask immigration to hold your case open so that we can file the VAWA case. And you're not going to get a whole lot of time. Usually it's about 30 days to prepare the VAWA case, and then we give them proof of that. But what happens is that this way we try to save your case from getting denied and just buy a little bit of time so that we can prepare your case and get it filed. So don't wait until the very last minute. If you have an interview coming up or if you've gotten the notification that your interview is being scheduled, it is really important that you take action right now. Give us a call, 212-248-7907. And if you have an interview coming up like right away, and I know that my calendar is pretty full and I don't have availability right away, but let my staff know when your interview is and we will do our best to get you in to speak with me even as fast as possible, okay? All right, everyone, I've got to go. I got to get home. I hope everyone has a wonderful evening, and call us at 212-248-7907 if you need an appointment or assistance with your case. I hope to hear from you soon.